Hello and welcome back to Adventures in Board Gaming. I'm Shannon and we are continuing our play of Too Many Bones. We are going to jump right into our day 3 encounter. Today's encounter is called Casualties of War. In times like these, sympathy is in short supply. The various deranged tyrants, tyrannical behavior makes it easy to forget there are creatures who are Ebon only by force or association. These innocent and displaced creatures often wash up on the shores of the Cibron, wounded and in need of help. Today, they offer their raft in hopes this journey ends with a slain tyrant. The raft could be used to cross easily, but it feels like we should return their generosity somehow. Flipping it over, we can see we have 2 choices today, and both are peaceful. The first is to take the raft and wish the survivors well, but your well wishes do little to heal their mortal wounds. Or we could offer to escort the wounded safely. If we choose this option, each gearlock must place a baddie from the top of any active stack into their loot area. We treat the baddie as the loot wounded subject, and each gearlock must keep this baddie in their loot area until the party reaches 5 total progress point, and it is heavy, which means that it takes up 3 of our 4 loot slots. But by choosing that option, we get 2 training points instead of 1. Very interesting decision to make. I think that we are going to go ahead and choose the second option. I'm always a fan of getting lots of training points, and since Gasket can't use loot in the traditional manner, I'm not too worried about not having much loot in this adventure. So we choose to escort the wounded to safety. Now, it doesn't really matter which baddie stack we grab these baddies off of because we haven't scouted at all. So I'm just going to grab 2 5-point baddies, and we'll put these both in our gearlocks loot slots. For completing this, we are going to get 1 progress point. We are going to get 1 loot each and 2 training points. First, let's look at what Gasket is getting for loot. It is a fortunate discovery. We would select one of our consumable skill dice and place it in a spot on our mat. It's now available for use. Gasket now has to make a choice because we have the equivalent of 5 pieces of loot. Remember, this baddie counts as 3 because it's heavy. So we need to discard something. I think we're going to get rid of the Descaler. Likely Gasket is going to end up discarding whatever loot he has, but there's also the possibility of trading it to Tink, so we want to keep him with the best loot possible. Tink is also getting a piece of loot, and Tink has found a hunting net. This would let us remove a 1 or 5-point baddie from the current battle and place it on this card, and then the baddie has to be defeated prior to the tyrant battle. So Tink also has to make a decision because Tink also has 5 points worth of loot. And I think this is an easy decision. The hunting net is definitely inferior to the dragon scales. So this is what we're going to go ahead and keep. We have 2 training points to use on Gasket, and we're going to keep it super simple today. The first thing we're going to do is increase our health. 2 health is not a comfortable number for me, so we are going to increase to 3, and when we increase our health, we get the HP right away. We're also going to increase our dexterity up to 5. This is going to allow us to continue to roll our attack and defense while having enough dex left for some skills. Tink is also going to increase health up to 5. So we'll put that on Tink right away. And then the next thing Tink is going to train is going to be this Spiderbot 2.0. This is going to hopefully help us a great deal because when our first bot is KO'd, we will have a second bot to put into play. And this bot is even stronger than the first one. It starts with 2 battery power, does 2 auto attacks, and has 5 HP. And of course, we can't forget to take our third progress point, bringing us closer to Gendrix. We have our end of day routine to go through. So first we would get lock-picking attempts, but we have nothing to open. Second, we could trade our loot, but I'm happy with where we are. And third, we get our individual options. Since both gear locks have been rested and recovered, and we don't want to try for better loot, they are both going to get a chance to scout ahead. So Gasket is scouting up to a 5-point baddie with his 5. And Tink is going to get to scout a 1-point baddie because he rolled a 1. So Gasket's scout reveals this Troll Enforcer. It has 5 HP, a low initiative of 2, and rolls 3 attacks and 2 defense at melee to the strongest unit. And its abilities are Thick Skin and Taunt. So again, Thick Skin means that every turn the first damage does not go through. Taunt with a bone means that if it rolls a bone, it's going to get a taunt effect, and everything adjacent to this unit has to attack this unit as opposed to anything else. I'm actually pretty happy putting this back on top, and so we'll leave that in play. Tink is scouting ahead with a Troll Youngin. It has 4 hit points, an initiative of 3, rolls 1 attack and 1 defense, melee to the weakest unit, and its only ability is Careless with a bone, so it does a damage to itself if it rolls a bone. I am going to keep this on top. It does not seem that threatening to me. That is the end of day 3, and we're going to move right into day 4, and let's see what this day holds for us. And our day 4 encounter is called Double or Nothing. A traveling merchant approaches in a huff. Clearly frazzled and nervous, her shoulders jerk as she repeats, "Double or nothing, double or nothing, double or nothing." We pause tensely as she reaches into her tattered cloak, which seems to hide an astonishing variety of trinkets. Humans have had a rough go of it in Daelore, and their behavior can be unpredictable. Her fingers run over small weaponry, cookware, and tools before finally poking into a hidden pocket. We all breathe a bit easier as she removes some dice of Daelorean chance and asks us to play a game. Well, this sounds like fun. Let's see what's on the other side. We only have one choice. It's not a combat today. We can roll the dice with this human. So our party leader, and we haven't designated a party leader, but for simplicity, let's say that's going to be Tink. Our party leader starts with 12 attack dice. Each round, the merchant will roll 3 defense dice, and based on the defense rolled, we will decide how many of the 12 attack dice to roll in order to tie or beat the defense dice that have been rolled. If we're successful, we get to advance to the next round, but all of the attack dice we used are exhausted and can't be used again. If we don't tie or beat the defense roll, all of our rewards are lost and the encounter ends. We can always choose to stop after seeing the merchant's roll for the current round and take on the rewards for each round successfully completed. So, if we successfully complete the first round, we each get a loot. The second round would be a training point. The third round would get us another loot. The fourth round, another training point. And the fifth round would get us a trove loot each. And we do get success no matter the outcome, which means we're going to get this progress point no matter what. So let's start playing. Okay, so it's the start of our first round. We have our 12 attack dice sitting by, and the merchant has rolled 3 bones. All we have to do is match the roll. So actually, we don't have to roll any attack dice. We automatically succeed the first round. We will decide to move into the second round, and the merchant rolls 1 defense. So we do have to decide how many attack dice we're going to roll to at least match that. And I think we're going to go with 2. Okay, we have succeeded. So that is round 2. Now these 2 attack dice are gone. We can move into round 3. And again, the merchant has rolled 1 defense. And again, I think that we will go ahead, we're going to go ahead and roll 3 of these. And we have definitely succeeded, so these 3 attack dice are locked out. And we go into round 4. Okay, so we would have to beat a 6 on this. And we have 7 attack dice. In order to make this decision, let's look at the card once again and see what our rewards are. So if we were to stop now, we would get the rewards from rounds 1, 2, and 3, so 1 training point and 2 loot. I'm not too concerned about getting the loot because we are basically maxed out on loot right now, but I would love to get that round 4 extra training point. And I'm feeling pretty good about being able to roll 6 with 7 dice, so let's give it a shot. Okay, we rolled 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just enough to complete round 4. We can't move into round 5 because we have no attack dice left. So we have successfully finished this encounter. So again, looking at our encounter, we are going to get this progress, and then we reached up to round 4, so we get 2 training points and 2 loot. Let's look at what Gasket is going to draw for loot. We have Fish Dinner, heal any gearlock for 4 HP outside of battle. And he's also drawn Reflex Powder, reroll any 1 die on your turn. Remember the Gasket's already maxed out on loot and also can't use loot normally. So we are going to just discard both of these and keep the Fortunate Discovery that Gasket has. Tink is also getting 2 loot. First, Red Minotaur. Ignore 1 bone when making a training attempt. Second loot option is Huckleberries. Heal an adjacent gearlock for 4 HP or heal yourself for 3 HP. Again, Tink already has some great loot in the Dragon Scales, and our other 3 loot are being taken up by the baddie that we chose to help. So we're just going to get rid of this loot and keep what we have. It's time to train Gasket, and we get 2 training attempts. Now, what I want to do is actually try to increase Gasket's defense. When Gasket goes into battle, he gets half of his defense rounded up to start with. So if we can get this up to a 5, then we'll get to start with 3 defense instead of 2. However, it's going to be difficult to succeed in a defense attempt, but we will try. Gasket's defense is 4, so we're rolling 4 defense dice. And we do get to re-roll any bones. And we have been successful. That means we get to add 1 to Gasket's defense. And next we're going to try to increase Gasket's attack. So again, we have to do a training attempt for this. Gasket's attack stat is currently 2, so that's how many attack dice we have to roll, but we don't get a reroll when training for attack. And we did roll a bone, so we don't get to increase our attack. We do get to use that training point elsewhere, and I think what I'd like to do is increase Gasket's health one more time. So putting Gasket up to 4 health. It is Tink's turn to train, and I think we want to try and get that attack stat up. So rolling our 1 attack die, and we are successful in increasing our attack. So we will put our 1 attack there. And the second thing we're going to train is our dexterity, since we will have 2 bots potentially on the go and some attachments. We're going to need some extra dexterity to play with on Tink. The last part of our day 4 reward is, of course, taking our progress. We're now at 4 progress, halfway to Gendrix. And we have reached the end of day, and just like every other day, we don't have any trove loot. We are not going to trade loot, and for our individual option, we are going to choose to scout ahead for baddies. So Gasket Scout is going to be a 1-point baddie, and Tink Scout is going to be up to a 5-point baddie. The 1-point baddie that Gasket has scouted is an Orc Peon. It has 3 health, 3 initiative, 1 attack die, is melee hitting the weakest gearlock, and has Rage 1. Rage 1 means that if it's not at full health, it rolls an extra attack die. Now, normally I wouldn't be too worried about this. It's not too bad on its own, but there are other orcs that have rating and get a bonus for there being extra orcs on the board, so we are going to cycle this to the back. And Tink gets to look at a 5-point baddie, and we have found this Orc Axe Bearer. 6 hit points, initiative of 3, 2 attack and 1 defense, hitting melee the weakest target, and if it's adjacent to multiple, it will hit 2. And abilities are Rating and Callous. The Rating ability is exactly why we cycled that other orc to the back, because this gets an extra attack die for every other orc on the field. And Callous means that you can only damage this baddie with attack dice. You cannot damage it with anything else, be it skills or backup plans. It has to be attack dice. I think that we are up for the challenge of this, especially since we have no other orcs at the front of our stacks right now. I think it's a good time to have something with rating in play, hopefully. So we'll leave this in front. Okay, my friends, that is going to be a wrap on days 3 and 4. I hope that you'll join me again for our next video where we'll jump into day 5. Will we have a combat, or will we have some more peaceful encounters? Who knows? We will find out next time. Thank you for watching.